My mind holds only what I think with God. Beyond this world is a world I want, and it is impossible to see two worlds. So often these statements are in a sense of something to achieve. Like we think that you need to do this in order to achieve this. Like the idea, even just as we've already been discussing several times, my mind holds only what I think with God. We think, oh, okay, so I need to think with God in order to make it happen. Instead of recognizing that that's actually upside down and backwards. What we're actually doing is thinking with God, and what we hold is what we think with God. It's already happening. And so it's the same thing with like, beyond this world is a world I want, and it is impossible to see two worlds. Now these two strongly, if you remember what we talked about with this, is that it is here, it is right now, and that it right behind everything. It's not that you are seeing an illusionary world. It's that you think you are. It's impossible to see two worlds at once. Not that you can see two worlds at once. It's impossible to see two worlds at once. So often we think we have a spiritual experience, a spiritual universe type revelatory experience, and then we think we experienced a different world. It's impossible to see two worlds. At once, yes, but it's really impossible to see two worlds. That in fact, this world is the same thing as the spiritual universe. So regardless if you have a spiritual experience or don't, you're experiencing the same, say, world that you have before. You're not experiencing right now, you're not experiencing a physical constructed world. You just think you are. That is a big factor. That what you are actually experiencing is distorted by your thinking. Now, remember, my mind holds only what I think with God. So, wait a second. So you're saying I'm seeing an illusionary world, and it remains to be that way because I am thinking it with God. If you came to that conclusion, you are accurate. If you still think there is a different mind, a separation between you and God, you're misunderstanding what this is saying. So often we think when we're in an illusionary perspective or even in an ego, we actually think we're special enough to be separate from God at that point. Specialness, as A Course in Miracles talks about many times in different ways, is often distorted. Actually thinking that someone could actually achieve that. It is only in your thinking that you do so. You can think, and there's only one aspect that would make you feel special, is that you're separate from God. Now you're like, wait, that wouldn't make me feel special. The only way you can feel any sort of specialness is if you have a separated experience. So, let's say you feel special because your daddy said this to you and made you feel great. You got ice cream because you did a good job. Whatever it is. You can't have ice cream if you're not separate from ice cream. You can't have your daddy tell you a good job if you're not separate from your daddy. You can't. You have to have separation to have any sort of degree of specialness. So what I'm referring to now, in this sense, is that your sense of feeling that you're special or being special is the idea that you think you can be separate from God. You can't. So often we use it in a circular fashion. I'm really screwing it up. I'm in an illusionary world. I got to get back to God. And not recognizing what or where or who God is. Now, of course, yes, this seems a little confusing because you're going to be battling with it. You're going to be struggling with, but if I'm one with God and if I'm creating my reality and all of this different experience, then why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? I didn't want this. I don't want this. This must not be true because I don't want this. Or I didn't want that. Right? Even while that's a lie, it's okay because maybe you're unaware of what you want, and that's fine. You don't have to be aware of what you want for the truth to be true. But in order to recognize the truth to be as true as it is, you do have to come through the barrier of not knowing yourself. So this full authenticity, full honesty, 100% pure self is required. You have to know yourself in order to then know the truth. It's like yourself is a bridge. If you don't know yourself, you're falling in the water every time. You don't know how to get. The troll on the bridge is, who goes there? It is I, Sir Reverend Devin Jesse Burton. That is not who you are. Throws you in the water. Who goes there? I'm me. I am me. No, that's not who you are. Throws you in the water. Until you know who you are, you can't know any truth. Sorry to tell you, no, you can't know the truth. Okay, you can know some truths, like who did what and and facts of the world. You can know those truths. I'll give you those ones. But you can't know the truth of the universe. You have to get through the authentic self. That means you have to know yourself 100% completely. So, it's impossible to see two worlds at once, and beyond this world is a world I want, is actually talking about your own self. Remember, the way you're thinking distorts your reality. So if you think of yourself as an independent person self, you're going to experience an independent person, separated person world. It peoples your world. You can't experience the unification of the universe if you think of yourself as separate. You have to think of yourself as unified existence with the rest of the universe. One essence. You have to actually think in that fashion. You can't fake it. You have to actually get to that. And then you experience. It naturally happens. You experience it. So you can't be, I'm going to experience the spiritual universe, but only me, not you. I'm better than you. Those are two different types of thinking. They manifest two different types of worlds. It's the same one place, yes. All distorted by whatever you're thinking, whatever you're believing. And no, again, emphasize, it's not the superficial thought. It's not, okay, I'm thinking positive, I gotta think of unity, I gotta think happy thoughts, gotta think joyous stuff, gotta be happy, and then I'm gonna experience a happy universe, happy world. No, it's not just the superficial stuff. Yes, that can help, that can direct it, that can get you to think and find out, discovering what this authentic self is. But the authentic self really has no thoughts of words. You have thoughts all day without words. You have experiences all day, no words involved, no concepts involved, no images involved, nothing. You have these types of thoughts all the time. The thoughts you think with God. And yet, of course, they have to, I'm only going to experience this little bit of myself, so I got this little person, Devin, and talk about stress, talk about crazy. No matter what it is, it's going to be lashing out at everyone and everything all the time in one way or another. And even if it is, concern and worry and doubt, frustration, paranoia, attachment, all sorts of different ideas of separation, guilt, resentment, upset, anything, and those superficial thoughts. So if you want to see the world in a different way, you have to think in a different way. Pretty simple, right? Oh yes, very simple. Absolutely. Lifetimes. But this whole experience of what you're doing here, why you're here, what you're here to achieve, is this transformation of thinking. You will spend your days, and we have eternity, no big deal. Don't feel rushed. You have forever. It's okay. So you're making this decision, you're making this choice to transfigure, transform. You change yourself, you change your world. Literally.